Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Dan salam sejahtera. Menghadap Duli Yang Teramat Mulia Tengku Muhammad Ismail Ibni Al-Wathiqu Billah Sutamizan Zainal Abidin yang di-Pertuan Muda Terengganu. Ampun Tuanku, dengan penuh hormat dan takzimnya, patut menjunjung Duli dan menjunjung setinggi-tinggi kasih di atas limpah perkenan Duli Yang Teramat Mulia Tuanku berangkat ke majlis perasmian Seminar East Coast Energy ECE 2025. Sesungguhnya dengan keberangkatan Duli Yang Teramat Mulia Tuanku amat dialu-alukan dan dinanti-nantikan oleh semua peserta seminar. Ampun Tuanku, patut pohon limpah perkenan Duli Yang Teramat Mulia Tuanku untuk patut menyampaikan sepatah dua kata ucapan kepada para hadirin sekalian dalam bahasa Inggeris. Ampun Tuanku. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, speakers, industrial players, and policy makers. Welcome to Terengganu. Welcome to the East Coast Energy 2025. Many thanks to Petronas, Terengganu Inc., and its subsidiary, Epic Berhad, all state agencies and units, strategic partners and industry players, and all those who have come over to make ECE 2025 as another success story. Indeed, your presence today reflects our shared determinations to drive a more sustainable and inclusive energy transformation, particularly to the East Coast region and the state of Terengganu. It is really a great honor for me to share my thought with you this morning, and I would consider myself having a bit of short stint as an engineer and scientist, academician and researcher, and now a policy and lawmaker, on the topics of great importance, that is energy. The magic word energy is one of the fundamental words that could be understood by all sorts of people, young or old, transcend borders, economies and ideologies, and sometimes a bit of hot and controversial. However, whenever the energy becomes a commodity or goods or products or assets or property, our lives so dependable on it, then things can go south easily as a source of contentions beyond international geopolitical rivalry, frictions, conflicts, and finally a war that could bring an apocalypse and disastrous consequences. That is so ironic because in the first law of thermodynamics, I guess each one of us here who go through engineering background and studies, they know the first law of thermodynamics, which is also known as the law of conservation of energy, stipulates that energy cannot be created or destroyed. Energy only transforms from one form to another. In a nutshell, energy cannot be destroyed, but we as a human can easily be destroyed or perish because of energy and because of our own wrongdoing. Vladimir Putin once said, one of the most important tasks is to broaden the energy supply. Energy determines today international security and social as well as economic development in many respects. In reality, the well-being of millions of people is directly dependent in energy security. As we gather to discuss the future of energy, particularly in the framework of oil and gas industry, let us start with a simplified, well-rounded situational analysis of the global landscape of energy and understand its implications for us in Malaysia and here in Terengganu in particular. Then afterward, I will share what is the state strategies. Ladies and gentlemen, in our PESTEL analysis framework, PESTEL, one of the analysis tools that we use to look at ourselves and what's in front of us, we look at the effect of, number one, political effect, number two, economics effect, number three, social, four, technological, five, environmental, and six, legal dimensions of the global energy sector. We could possibly outline it as follows. Number one, in terms of political. We are witnessing a significant political dynamics, both domestic and regional. We are also witnessing global realignments and shifting alliances. On a global scale, the term strategic uncertainties by Trump administration dominating our headlines every day, almost every day, and affecting each one of us on the planet. We have conflicts in Europe and the Middle East, which continue to destabilize our global energy supply chains. Reasonably, that gives more reason here in Malaysia and at the state level to have a non-political and stable governing structure of state revenue, which is so far from oil and gas royalty, as cast in stone in Petroleum Development Act 1974. We need a non-political and stable governing structure that could withstand any political differences between state and federal government, regardless of who comes to power, because all we want is a better Malaysia. This also explains why we need a better federalism concept. For example, a new fiscal federalism in our constitutions, especially after nearly 7 decades of independence. But that's going to be a different topic altogether. Number two, in terms of economic. From an economic standpoint, global oil prices is so volatile and directly impacts our state. A drop in Petronas profit from 80.7 billion ringgit in 2023 to 55.1 billion in 2024 underscores this vulnerability. Terengganu must broaden its base revenue. As for the state, we cannot just be a spectator waiting for a yearly monetary payment of the land lease or payment of local council taxation by any industrial player operating in Terengganu. But our GLC, in particular, must be a player too. That is why our government is committed in planning and investing in green industries and clean technologies that promise long-term returns and economic resilience. Number three, in terms of PESTEL analysis, social. Socially, the energy transition presents both opportunities and disruptions. Our young people are increasingly drawn to careers in technology, renewables, and sustainability. However, on the other side of the certain spectrums, our young generation is facing lots of other unprecedented challenges, which I call conflict of future awareness, by having addicted to a different thing, like social media, for example. So at the end, we must embrace ourselves to these shifts or the global trends by reskilling our workforce and partnering with institutions that we will ensure Terengganu people equipped for emerging jobs in various industries like solar, hydrogen, carbon capture, utilization and storage, or CCUS, and digital energy systems. Number four, technology is a critical driver that requires knowledge and innovations, especially in carbon capture, hydrogen production, and renewable energy systems, which are evolving on how we produce and consume energy. Terengganu must not only adopt these technologies, we must participate in their development. Number five, in our PESTEL analysis on the environment. Environmentally, we have very serious responsibilities. Terengganu is blessed with vast forests, clean rivers, mangroves, islands, and rich biodiversity. But our offshore oil infrastructure is aging, posing environmental risk. We must invest in rehabilitation, safety, and sustainable practices. Moreover, we are also committed to Malaysia's pledge of reducing carbon intensity by 45% by the year of 2030. And number 6 in our PESTEL analysis, on the legal side. From a legal perspective, a global shift toward ESG compliance and carbon markets require very robust legal infrastructure. The draft Climate Change Act and the National Carbon Market Policy will redefine our regulatory landscape. Terengganu must align with this framework, streamline environmental approvals, and establish green incentives, both at the state and GSC level, or state enterprise. In certain part of the world, they call it state enterprise. The State R&D Agency itself has completed a study on related legal framework, and in short, our laws must empower progress, not to curb it. Ladies and gentlemen, moving forward from this situational analysis is to realign our state energy activities with the new strategic plan. Guided by the State Master Plan, Plan Induk Terengganu Sejahtera, or PITAS 2030, and its subsets of energy, which is a Plan Induk Teknologi Hijau, PT 2030, Terengganu Energy Strategy goes beyond diversifications and investment. It aims to position the state as a regional hub in green energy innovation. The state has identified 7 sectors and multiple enablers for a just and resilient energy transition. The sectors are energy efficiency, water resources management, green hydrogen-based production, renewable energy commercialization, green industrial parks, and green waste management. Terengganu has also identified solar, hydrogen, biogas, biomass, hydro, and wind as key potential sources for clean and renewable energy development. Let me now share with you several actions currently being undertaken by the Terengganu state government to address these 3 imperatives. Imperative number 1 is taking action on diversifying the energy mix. The state is currently launching 2 gigawatt floating solar farms in Kenya via its GLC Terengganu Inc., with multinational companies like Tenaga Nasional Berhad, Petronas, and Saudi-based Aqua Power. Green hydrogen and ammonia zones have been earmarked for development, and pilot projects involving production via cost-effective mini hydro systems are undergoing feasibility study in Hulu Terengganu. Considering global off-takers' demand, producing the green asset via sources such as solar and hybrid hydro will be sensibly implemented in phases. In addition, biogas and biomass are being scaled up, especially from palm oil waste and vast forest plantation sites, which is available for wood pellet production. So instead of exporting the low-value raw pellets to international market, which is probably the income generation for that is very little, very small. It's a peanut compared to what we can gather if we scale up as a biomass and a biogas. Terengganu will embark into high-value biomass energy-based midstream application at a designated industrial park. An integrated disposal site equipped with technologies such as modern treatment systems, composting, recycling, smart waste management, and waste-to-energy WTE systems are being developed to convert urban and agro-industrial waste into power. We are promoting carbon capture, usage and storage, and carbon credit initiatives, leveraging our 540,380 hectares of forest reserves, covering 42% of the state land mass, as well as mangroves, a highly valued asset for blue carbon credit, which is particularly for mangroves. As part of our broader diversification strategy, Terengganu is planning to position ourselves as a regional energy distribution hub by rejuvenating our legacy gas infrastructure. The strategy is realistic, since the source is still very much relevant and of a high demand. This includes the establishment of a special purpose vehicle, or SPV, between MBI Terengganu subsidiary and a private sector partner to develop a liquefied natural gas LNG regasification terminal, or RGT, facility to serve the Malaysian and Asia-Pacific market. LNG is increasingly recognized as a crucial transition fuel. Strong demand from new local power plants, as well as major economies such as China, Korea, and Japan, reinforce the strategic value of LNG infrastructure in Terengganu for regional supply and energy resilience. Number two, in terms of scaling up energy investment. Under PT 2030, which is our green energy initiative under the state plan, the state aims to establish a green industrial park to attract clean tech manufacturing and sustainable industry players, supported by green incentives and streamlined approvals. Through Pelan Penjanaan Pendapatan Baharu Negeri Terengganu, or New Income Terengganu, NIT, we are diversifying our revenue to include green royalties, land regulation reforms, and carbon economy mechanism. Number three, in one of the initiatives, fostering regional collaboration. This is where we need all the industrial players who are present today in this very room. Terengganu is actively collaborating under SG4 Consortium, which consists of 4 states, Terengganu, Kelantan, Kedah, and Perlis, involving those 4 states, focusing on joint development of green energy industries by coordinating together the state asset as well as resources for high-value investment. With the best solar radiation in the country and vast lands available, I believe the SG4 states, especially Terengganu and Kelantan in the East Coast, hold immense potential for agrivoltaic solar project. These 3 efforts align with our PTAS 2030, which is the master plan for the state development and national energy transition objectives, are transforming Terengganu and East Coast into a frontier for sustainable and resilient energy development in Malaysia. Ladies and gentlemen, now we come to the final part, which is facing the challenges and whether all those planning are feasible or realistic or not. We are fully aware that the road ahead is not without its challenges. The energy transition is a complex undertaking, often described as more intricate than the Industrial Revolution. It is complex, costly, and constantly evolving, especially on the technology part. Here in Terengganu, we approach this with both ambition and realism. Any development and commercial initiatives related to energy industry must always about balancing the energy trilemma. It's not dilemma anymore, but trilemma, which are security, affordability, and sustainability. We know that progress will require long-term commitment, careful planning, and unwavering coordination. But we also believe firmly that the support, innovation, and participation of all stakeholders, be it from government agencies or private investors, our researchers, youth, and local communities, we can succeed. Terengganu offers unique and compelling advantages. We have a strategic geolocation, number 1. Number 2, we are at the cornerstone of ECIL logistical integration, waiting in 1.5 or 2 years' time. Number 3, we have vast and affordable land. Number 4, we have rich natural resources. And can you imagine those 4 states under SG4, Terengganu, Kelantan, Kedah, and Perlis, we hold about 70% of the total reserve of REE in the country. And number 5, strong governance and institutional support. With all these strengths combined, Terengganu is poised to lift the East Coast to become regional green energy frontier and regional hub for sustainable energy development. This is not just about infrastructure or technology. This is about our future, the future of our generation in Terengganu in particular, East Coast, and finally in Malaysia. Our responsibility is to create new jobs, new industries, and a cleaner, more resilient future that they, the future generation, can inherit from us with pride. Ladies and gentlemen, together we can make this vision a reality. Together, let us innovate energy, and together, let us elevate the East Coast and Terengganu in particular. Thank you. Ampun tuanku, demikianlah persembahan ucapan patik. Sekali lagi patik bagi pihak kerajaan Terengganu merafak sembah, menjunjung duli dan menjunjung setinggi-tinggi kasih atas limpah perkenan duli yang telah mulia tuanku berangkat untuk merasmikan seminar East Coast Energy ECE 2025. Patik berdoa agar duli yang telah mulia tuanku akan terus diberikan kesihatan dan dirahmati oleh Allah Subhanahu wa taala. Ampun tuanku, patik akhiri ucapan patik dengan lafaz wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Ampun tuanku.